Morning, guys. So this video that I'm going to shoot, because right now I'm taking a dog for a walk, video I'm about to shoot is about traditional slip joints. So we're going to talk about that here in just a minute, as soon as I get done taking the dog for a walk. And apparently the cat too, because the cat comes for walks with me and the dog. Don't you, Tiger? Quit chewing the hair off your tail. Makes you look silly. Well, guys, like I said during the walk, what we are going to talk about, while I kind of put some of this stuff away from last night, I worked pretty hard yesterday to try and get a lot of stuff caught up. We're going to talk about traditional pocket knives, because you guys always see me carrying like Ferrum Forge, flipper, what some would consider almost like a tactical knife, things like that. But the thing I usually don't show is a lot of times I do EDC a traditional style pocket knife. And I mean, when I say that, I don't mean it has to be a slip joint or anything like that, because there's some knives out there that are traditional pocket knives that are not slip joint. I do have a lot of slip joint knives though. And that's one of the things that I feel as I've kind of neglected to mention the role that a good, as my father would have called it, pen knife, or truly a pocket knife, because it doesn't clip to anything, it just sits in your pocket. So I brought out a few. I have got a lot of slip joint knives. Some of these are ones that I've had for a long time, traditional pocket knives. This is one that stays on my bench all the time. It's just a cheap Bull and Bear. I forget, somebody sent it to me and gave it to me. It's a doctor's knife. So a doctor's knife traditionally has got a flat spot here because the doctor used it to crush pills. It's got a long knife, a longer blade that he would use for counting out pills. And a lot of times that is almost like a spatula. Sometimes it's not even an actual blade on these. And then a small little knife that could be used as a emergency scalpel, which it's shaped a little differently than a lot of pocket knives. I have a nice little knife. This is not a bad little knife. This is a little Imperial that belonged to my grandfather. He carried this a lot. It is a two-bladed knife. It's an Imperial. So one blade is stainless, the other is obviously carbon steel. Father-in-law is doing dishes. I told him I'd do them. It's obviously a carbon steel knife. This got carried a lot. It is nowhere near. The blade used to stand out a lot because it's hard to get to the nail neck on this one, because the old man sharpened it so many times that it's so much smaller now than it was. Still really sharp. And I have some knives. Now, some of these were gifts that were in that box, because I just didn't want to go upstairs and dig through and dig out the rest of them. This is a modern traditional pocket knife, and it's a lockback. This is a Kissing Crane. It's made in China. It is a Chinese knife, and it's Damascus, but it's not a bad little knife. I have an old Camelus that was my grandfather's. It's a Camelus, the Remington series that Camelus used to do. This was the Rimfire series. It's a 22 long rifle. So basically it's got an image of a 22 long rifle on the handle. And this is a trapper style knife, where you had a blade that could be used for some skinning and things like that, and a little fine boning knife. These were called trappers because the trappers would use them for skinning and things like that. There's all kinds. There's multi-bladed slip joints that you can buy. I have a buck knife that I carry a lot that I think it fell down in a couch. I carried a lot. It's small enough, it fits in. This one has kind of taken over its role. It fits down in a watch pocket in a pair of jeans really easily. And basically it gives you a little knife that you can use for small tasks that you don't have to pull out something. There are people that are just terrified of anything that they perceive as a weapon. And so when you pull out like a Ferrum Forge Archbishop, or a flipper knife like an end tack, where you flip it open, it snaps, like, oh God, he's got a switchblade. it can be intimidating. So there's times in certain situations that something small like this, which is non-opposing, you're not non-imposing, it's a nice little knife. This is Bertram Cutlery, which until it was bought by Frost Cutlery, actually made nice knives. This is more of an older one. And then there's some lockback knives. This one is really nice. I really like this one. This one is not going anywhere. I was gonna get, this was a gift from our mysterious benefactor. But these are knives that are more the traditional style knife that my grandfather would have carried. I still carry them a lot. It's not something that that I've done a lot of videos about or anything like that, but a nice little pocket knife like this was the original gentleman's folder. Pocket knives did not. There's a lot of you guys that probably do not remember when pocket knives did not have pocket clips. Sal Glesher at Spyderco kind of, he flipped the knife world on its side when he came out with their Clip It series at Spyderco. They were new. They were something that you could put it on your pocket. It's right there. But there's something about a nice old traditional, like a multi-bladed, this is something my grandfather would have carried. Where you have some different blades that are available for different purposes, you know, that if you're doing something and the big blade gets dull, you can probably still use the small one. This one does have an issue though. I'm gonna take that and I'm gonna knock that point off of that blade. It is very sharp. I mean, it's sharp almost to the point of being sharpened. Very pointy. Well, I just got another pre-order for the Hornets, apparently. That's 8. There are 8 that were ordered, so it was the 5 that were ahead. 3 people have ordered, and I just got, so Pip just ordered one. He had talked to me about it. I just got his PayPal confirmation. But anyway, so you had a smaller blade that you could use for smaller tasks, you had a larger blade. But the nice thing about these are, like a Swiss Army knife or something like that, you have the big blade, you have the small blade, but if your blade gets dull, you still have, with that one knife, without having to go back to the house and get another knife, a sharpened blade. Now, there are a lot of countries in the world where a slip joint's the only thing you can carry. Legally, anyway. England, I do believe that I have spoke to Mr. Yates, James Yates, and he has said, if I remember correctly, the laws in England are you can't have a locking pocket knife. Australia just changed their rules to allow flipper knives. But there's, even here in the States, there are places where this knife, which is gonna get its own review. This came from Vinny Nero, it came in a package. This is an awesome knife, by the way, just to throw that out there. A knife like that, where you can, there's places where just the fact that you can open that knife one-handed makes it falls into that definition of a gravity knife or switchblade knife, and it's illegal. If you're in New York and you have a knife, and they see that pocket clip, if you're in New York City, you're getting stopped. They see that pocket clip, you're getting stopped. They're taking your knife, and it's probably gonna be a charge. You're gonna go to the jail. You're gonna have to bail out. You're gonna have to see a judge. So if you go to New York City, I'm telling you guys right now, from what I understand, leave your knives at home, or do what people have done for years. Take the pocket clip off, slide it down in your pocket. Now, I will say there are disadvantages to having a knife that does not have a pocket clip. There's some distinct disadvantages. Some of these are on the larger side. Some of them are on the smaller side. You know, this is a very small little knife. This is a fairly thick, large knife. A lot of times you put the knife in your pocket, it'll sit where you want it for a little bit, and then all of a sudden it changes position, and you sit down and it's poking you in the leg and things like that, because it doesn't ride in one spot. It just kind of slides around. There are ways to avoid that. I have somewhere a wide leather slip that has got room for a little, when I was active duty and I was working at the base, when I worked in security for a while, I would actually put a cuff key down inside. I had 2 little pockets. I had one that was big enough for a slip joint pocket knife or a traditional style pocket knife, and then another pocket where you could put a couple things, like I put a cuff key down in there, and I would put a couple other, there were other little things that I had in there that I could use. It was not designed for that purpose. What it was just a little leather pouch. It had 2 pockets, and it had cleaning tools. It had the handles, 2 handles, and the screw tops, and then a couple little picks for weapons maintenance. And I repurposed it because it would sit in my pocket and keep everything vertical, and it didn't move around a lot. So, you know, but there's always that option of the watch pocket. It's or people say the coin pocket. Coin pocket in your jeans? There is no coin pocket in your jeans. That's a watch pocket from before watches had wristbands. So, you know, there are so many different options for knives that do not have to be a flipper, or, you know, it doesn't even have to have a lock. That you can still carry, and they're still very, very, very functional tools. This one is by far, of all the little slip joints that I've got out on the table, by far right now, one of my favorite that I've had ever come in, and that's why it was originally going to go as a giveaway, because it's just about the perfect size for some day-to-day tasks that you would need it for. And I like the unique lock on it. It's not at all a hot spot or anything like that, but it's really well shaped. It forms in your hand really well, and it's a really nice knife. I have not seen these. This is a Hartkopf and Company from Solingen. And from what I've seen, this is a vintage one. They do make knives still, but they don't. This isn't a model that they still make. So this is an older knife. Now, there are some newer knives that fall into that slip joint that are different. This one's going to get its own video. This came from Birdshot. This is not the typical slip joint, and this is that Lansky world legal knife that Bird did in his video, and I'm gonna give it its own video. I've carried it. It's not gonna lie. It's a beast. It's a brick, and it is so stiff. And I have this marketed as an urban tactical. I would disagree. This thing is so hard to get open. So it's got a pocket clip. It's got, as opposed to some other constructions that I'll talk about later in the video that this is going to get. But this is a different kind of animal. This is something that I think it was kind of gimmicky. Is it a bad knife? No, it's pretty well built. It's just that there are certain things that a slip joint should not be marketed as. But no, that's it. I've never really talked about slip joints. One of the most important knives, or I'm sorry, the most important knife I've ever owned is the one. It's that little lockback pocket knife that my father gave me. It came with a little felt pocket slip that got lost somewhere. I have the original box that knife came in at home in a dresser in Ohio. It's still there. I saw it the last time I was home at the old house that we used to live in. But yeah, there's in this new world, new age of everything being cool and fast and awesome and slick, sometimes it's just nice to reach in your pocket and pull out a little piece of the past. And it just kind of, you know, I saw my grandfather do so many things with a little slip joint knife like this. Just pull it out of his pocket. Carried a Barlow knife with him all the time. Can't ever remember seeing the man go anywhere without a knife. And so I just wanted to touch on the fact that there are still a lot of really nice, really, really well done traditional knives out there that you can carry anywhere and not have to worry about, oh, the pocket clip catches, the pocket clip's too big and things like that. You know what? For those guys that just bitch and complain about pocket clips all the time, maybe you should carry something like this. Maybe this is your answer, because I hear a lot of people bitching about pocket clips. I have news for you. The pocket clip is the worst feature on every knife. Even the really well done ones. You know? Even the really, really well done ones. The pocket clip's always an issue. So, if you got a issue with pocket clips, take the fucking thing off, slide it in your pocket, treat it like a traditional. So, alright guys, I am going to let you guys know right now, I'm putting a hold on my mail. I am not going to do any more. I have one knife that I'm going to try and sharpen today. I'm not going to try and do any more making of knives. Knives came in. They came in yesterday. I just got them in yesterday from getting sheaths. So you guys that had originally ordered, I sent out a group text to the guys that had ordered the last 5. There are they're not going to make it before Christmas. They just came today. I would have to spend the entire day sharpening them. I had told my in-laws that we were going to spend the day today. I'm not doing anything today except this one video and maybe sharpening that one knife. So I've worked until 7 o'clock every night since they've been here. They've been here for a week, and I have spent 0 time with them. So I promised them that from now until we get back from the Grand Canyon, I'm not going to do any significant amount of work. So that means I'm not going to go get those knives sharpened. I'm not going to get them shipped out. There's no way I would get them shipped today anyway. I have 3 packages I have to ship out. One of them is knives going to get sheaths. So I apologize that they were late. I am still going to be answering emails about the pre-order for the knives. Like I said, we are at August. Pip Corona is August. So anybody after that, James Yates, when you get back to me, I'll put you are July. So I have knives up until August. So if you order now, you still have to pay the 50% down, the non-refundable deposit, but you fall in line. So the sooner you get with me, the closer you are to the front of the year as opposed to the back of the year. That's just the way I'm going to have to do it, because if I do it the other way, I'm going to kill myself. And there's a chance I'll rush, and I don't want to rush and make errors. I want these knives to be as perfect as possible. So you guys are paying me to do something. I take that serious. So I treat it just like I do sharpening. So I've got a lot of knives here on this workbench that I got to clean up and get put away. I will possibly do another video before Christmas, but if I do not, you guys have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Celebrate whatever holidays you're celebrating. Be good to each other, love each other, and I will see you next time.